Okay, are you hearing me okay? My voice is starting to get a little choky, but we'll get there. All right, let's just wrap up this section of talking about impact. I'll be honest, metrics in the area of impact I find to be squirrely. Measuring the impact of open source, that's like measuring the impact of your local library. Maybe possible, but questions like impact to whom, starting from where, as measured by what? I'm just not sure how to achieve actually reliable quantification. Still, if these raw numbers are even close to accurate, especially as they're validated by our empirical experience, it seems obvious that the impact is, well, scientifically speaking, big. On average, corporate enterprises are comprised of approximately 30% open source code. Wow. Approximately 70% of active websites are hosted on an open source web server. Forrester Research reports that in a 2012 study, only 16 out of 481 developers surveyed reported never having used open source tools. Doubtless we'd find similar numbers if we did a poll right now. There are millions of active projects, not dead projects, active ones, on SourceForge, GitHub, Google, Olo, etc., crossing every service category and network layer imaginable. And closer to home, 4 of the last 7 Chicago ACM chapter meetup topics are deeply related to open source. Bottom line is, open source is huge, commercially and culturally. Perspectives. First, business and commercial perspectives. Okay, how do tech companies make money on an open source diet? Here are 3 common business patterns with significant precedent in today's marketplace. You have support sellers. This is like Red Hat and Canonical. The thought there is, okay, I know you, customer, can get this on your own for free, but we'll give you all this support around it, and I'll bet you'll pay for that, which people do. Accessorizing. T-shirts and buttons? No. Think O'Reilly. End user documentation on open source projects being the accessory. Service enablers is the third type. Service enablers use an open source release to drive market share to their own product line. Like a printer company might release printer drivers as open source in order to drive the market toward their own devices. And finally, in the first half of our presentation tonight, let's just quickly talk about some major thinkers. I wish we had a lot more time to go into some of the philosophical underpinnings. We can only allude to them here. 3 important thinkers you should know about. Richard Stallman. In Richard's opinion, it is our duty to each other to pursue open source and to always provide a complete open source stack option. The issue is squarely in the realm of public service and even morality with him. Eric Raymond has done critical analysis of open source and has published a number of canonical works, such as The Cathedral and the Bazaar and other writings about hacker culture. He is a capable discerner about the procedural superiority of open source, as a matter of fact, more so than a matter of principle. And Steven Weber is a political scientist. Steven is an important thinker who examines open source critically in his book, The Success of Open Source. His observations about the socio-political implications of the movement are well worth taking in.